Bitcoin may have very well just confirmed that the bull market is now here and that the bear market is over based off of what we have seen in history. And so in today's video, we're going to talk about exactly why that is the case and what that could mean for what the future of crypto looks like. And we are of course starting right now. So as I'm sure many of you have seen, Bitcoin has now confirmed its third green monthly candle in a row, which historically signals the beginning of the bull market for Bitcoin. What we can do is we can go all the way back to the beginning of Bitcoin times, and we can see how this is played out. So what you can see here is back in 2012, when the first real Bitcoin market did kick off, coming off of this pullback from about $10 to $11 all the way down to $2, Bitcoin was finally able to put in 3 green monthly candles in a row. And again, that was a signal that the first major bull market was on the way, in which Bitcoin reached a whopping $1,000. Now, moving into 2015 and 2016, you can see here that we were in a bear market ever since 2014. We put in, 1 green monthly candle here, 2 green monthly candles here. None of them triggered the bull market, but once we did get this 3 green candle in a row pattern, boom, that was the beginning of this 2016 bull market. We move forward into 2019, whenever we finally got 3 green candles in a row after a pretty devastating bear market, boom, this was the signal that the bull market was now here. And what you can see is that we have now put in 3 green candles in a row in a very similar fashion right here from January of 2023 to March of 2023. And many people do believe that one way or another, whether we do get a pullback in continuation or just general continuation, that we have now kicked off the bull market for 2023 to 2024. Now, people are going to say one specific thing to kind of counter this and say, well, Tyler, what we have to consider is that Bitcoin has never been in a market cycle in which there was quantitative tightening. It's always been QE, quantitative easing, quantitative expansion. It's always been a good time when there's been high liquidity. And although I do believe that to be true, one thing that you must understand is that there are certain parts of the world right now that are in that part of the cycle. Of course, we do see that Hong Kong and China have started to embrace crypto in a weird spin of events over the last year. And of course, they are also in a time in which they are starting to print money. They are starting to kind of inject liquidity into their economies now that they are finally opened back up and seemingly past the pandemic. And of course, because of that, if they're able to absorb a lot of the liquidity that the United States is giving up, we very well could see very similar price movements, which is the reason why crypto has been moving so similarly to how it has in the past. Let me give you an example. So what we can do is let's go all the way back down. Let's go back down to the weekly charts just for a second here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear everything off, and we're going to take the previous bear market. I just want to show you what I mean whenever I say similarly. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the previous bear market. Let's get this bars pattern, and we're going to take it from the top of the market all the way until we finally started to pump right here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and overlay it. We're going to overlay it to the top of this market. Okay. Boom. Look at the similarities here. Right? Look at the similarities here. Look at the moments where we've seen rises. Look at the moments where we've seen capitulation in these moments. Look at the moments where we've put in bottoms. Look at the moments where we've put in the final beginnings of the highs. Look at the structural formations here, right? In terms of this modest cup and handle pattern forming, in terms of this modest, kind of crooked cup and handle pattern, you can see the similarities, and it's not perfect. It's not exactly the same, but a lot of this is incredibly, incredibly similar. And so when people say, well, times are different, sure, times may be different, but as we are starting to see other parts of the world embrace crypto, we can very clearly see that it is triggering very similar price movements for Bitcoin specifically. Now, will times change a little bit? Will things get a little bit different? Maybe we do see a pullback from here. Maybe we don't see a pullback from here. Sure, I'm sure that this is going to start to look different. But what we have to understand is that the basic principles and that the basic foundations for this bull market are getting established in the exact same manner that they always do. And so whenever you want to sit there and convince yourself all day long that this time is different and that we're going to see $10,000, understand that you may be putting yourself in a position to miss out on what could be another opportunity of a lifetime that we may not even see again. So with that said, what do we do about this from here? Well, personally speaking, let's go all the way back. What you guys know is that I'm in a position at this given point where I do believe that the bottom of the bull market, or that the bottom of the bear market is in, and that the bull market has started. I'm quite confident that we're in that position. Now, you also know, especially if you've been here for a while, that I'm not under the belief that we're going to see an all-time high anytime soon. I do believe that it is going to take quite a bit of time, and I do think that we may be in position to start to capitulate a little bit and slow down here. But I am quite confident that unless Bitcoin sees something absolutely devastating, such as, for example, USDT PrimeXBT collapses, Coinbase truly collapses, Binance truly collapses. Unless one of those things happens, we are very likely at a bottom for crypto. We probably bottomed out back here towards $15,000. And so, of course, because of that, I do think that we need to be preparing for what could be the biggest accumulation phase that we've ever seen occurring right now. So given the fact that I do believe we have put in a bottom, and given the fact that we are seeing bottoming out structures like this inverse head and shoulders playing out, which does have a breakout target back up towards $39,000 to $40,000, I am under the belief that now is a decent time to be accumulating. So because of that, I am entering into my level accumulating. So at this given point, I have started to accumulate every single Wednesday. I'm buying more Bitcoin. Now, at what point will I buy even more? Well, I'm going to start buying more Bitcoin once we're capable of breaking $28,000 to $32,000. This little range here. I've done a bunch of videos at this given point saying that this, range is by a far the strongest point of resistance and support that we have in crypto right now, and that if we're capable of breaking it, we're in position to absolutely reach back up to $40,000. But if we do get rejected, we very well may revisit the trend line, even as low as 20,000 before we do continue. Look back to history, right? We've seen these moments where although we do get a lot of upward momentum and we do really start to catch some momentum to the upside, we have come all the way back down to retest the trend before continuation. And so that is within the realm of possibility here. There absolutely is an opportunity for us to roll reverse and, enter into a bit of a cool down phase for the rest of the year or for the next few months before we do look to really take out some of these highs and look to continue this bull market later towards the end of the year. And so I don't see a reason as to why I would be doing massive accumulation right now while we are below $28,000 to $32,000. I think the most rational thing to do is to allow this level to break. Let us know that we are gaining even more momentum to the upside, and then we could be in fantastic position to really see a continuation. Now, one way or another, I do believe that although we could reach up to $40,000, I think in this example, we would really start to consolidate or maybe even capitulate from there, because I don't think that we're going to reach all-time highs in this year. I simply just cannot foresee that happening. And so because of that, one way or another, whether we see the accumulation here or whether we see the accumulation here, I do believe that the bottom is in, but we will get a good period of time in which we can start to build up our portfolios, accumulate even more Bitcoin, and kind of allow the prices to cool down before looking for some type of continuation to the upside. This is almost always how it looks. It almost always starts to rally, it gets people excited, then it cools down to build up liquidity, and then we enter into our bull market. And again, unless some type of massive black swan event happens, I do simply just believe that to be the case. Now, under the circumstances in which we do start to see a roll all the way back down below this trend, then sure, yeah, we may be in a bit of a different position and the bottom may not be in. And of course, this loss of this trend line here completely invalidates my thesis. But that is not even close to happening, and I'm not going to bet that that is going to happen just because I want to be right on crypto Twitter. It doesn't make sense to me, okay? So at this given point, I am going to be accumulating. At this given point, I am building up my Bitcoin position. At this given point, I am waiting, though, for us to break $32,000 before, upping that accumulation and building onto that accumulation even more, because this level very well might reject us all the way back down to as low as, $19,000 or $20,000. And of course, there are better buying opportunities down there. So with that said, as this does continue to play out, I will continue to update you moving forward throughout the week. This is, of course, Macro Monday, so I always want to give you an update on what the macro looks like and how it's paying out for us. So with that said, of course, if you did enjoy today's video, you can always let me know easily and simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new here, and I will see you all next time. Peace.